Hello and welcome to an amazing podcast. This is the cool guy member of Lazarus D.
This is the cool guy member of Lazarus Modi.
Hapnaballs.
You can be someone else. Oh wait, sorry. What did you say, Matt?
I said Hapnaballs.
Suck my
All right.
half in the balls, mother truckers. And we are reviewing Lazarus, a original Adult Swim Toonami anime by Studio Mappa. So,
Yes, and also, by the director Shinichiro Watanabe, who is probably my favorite anime director. Honestly, he did Cowboy Bebop,
I buy that.
Samurai Champloo, Space Dandy, Kids on the Slope, a lot of stuff. But yeah, this is his latest anime, and yeah, I love it already.
I 100% buy that. Okay, so let me start things off. Pros. I really like the music. I really like the character designs. They're very grounded, but I enjoy them despite that. I like the animation, really good action scenes, a lot of really good parkour scenes. So music, characters, action, all pretty good. Characters I'm jiving with right now. I think the main character Axel, who's essentially this rebel escaped ex-con who plays by his own rules, is fine if he doesn't feel a little one note. And all in all, not too bad. Cons. This show takes a lot of suspension of disbelief for me. A lot. So for the viewers,
I can see that.
yeah. So for the viewers at home, essentially the premise is there was this really freaking awesome painkiller called Hapna that the entire world just started pill popping nonstop. 3 years later, the creator of the drug shows back up, tells everyone that the drug's poisonous, and in 30 days, whoever took Hapna at the first release is going to die, and then everyone else after that from there. Essentially, you have a fancy billionaire rich people secret organization collecting a group of teenagers with attitude to help track down the creator and find a cure for the Hapna syndrome. So
Wait, how do you know that about the organization? That they're like an anti-billionaire?
I said like rich person billionaire, not anti or anything.
Oh, okay. How do you know they're a billionaire organization?
Assumptions because of all of the
okay.
tech, all of the fancy sci-fi like cloak building stuff. The fact that they had a boardroom and the leader had a giant high-rise office.
Okay.
But
I kind of assumed, I mean, you could be right, but my read of it was that it was like a secret government agency that, like, operates kind of outside of the law, which is why they wanted to hire criminals.
Yeah.
And the reason I thought that is because in episode 2, when they get caught, or like, when they end up in the same room with like the DEA and the FBI, you would think that the DEA and FBI would like try to apprehend them or something, but they just don't do anything about them. So they must, I assumed that there's like some understanding that they're kind of working on the same side, low key. But
to be fair, the FDA apparently let cyanide slip through them, so apparently the government in this universe might not be the brightest.
I mean, okay, listen, that's what happens when you let RFK run things, okay? That's just what's going to happen.
What are they,
It's a
some
natural
kind of
consequence.
suicide squad?
But that's my thing. Like, the whole idea of, okay, so this is the weird thing. I would be really on this premise if it wasn't painkillers. Like, if it was like, oh man, this new scientist came up with the world's greatest, like, artificial sweetener. It's low calorie and you can eat as much as you want without getting fat. And it just, like, spread through all the food because it was, like, an effective, cheap way of, like, sweetening it. I would be 100% on board with that because I don't know. I can't buy everyone on the planet Earth becoming a pill popper.
Well, no. Like, I think it's more of like if ibuprofen had like a kill switch at some point.
I don't think that's what it is. I don't think that's what it is because I was actually surprised by this because they were like, oh, this is such an easy, accessible thing, and that's why everyone ended up taking it. But then they literally said right after that, you need a prescription for it.
Yeah.
So it's like,
So it's more like,
I mean, that's
it's more
not
like weed.
accessible. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
There's literally things like that in real life right now that are exactly like this.
Okay, but a lot of
thing.
people would still die though, like because a lot of people do weed, like, and don't deserve
Sure,
to die.
Well, no. What I'm
Yeah.
saying is that it doesn't make sense that Hapna is like some special thing because there's already things like Hapna
Yeah.
that are like pretty much the only reason they're not super accessible is because you need a prescription, right? So it's not like ibuprofen. If it was like ibuprofen, that would make sense. Like if it was an over the counter thing, that would make sense. But it's not. So it's like, what are they talking about?
The other
For
thing
me,
too
it's-
is like if
Yeah.
people were okay, so a couple things. If people were taking this recreationally, you would think they would have like some safeguards for like medicine, like kind of like how syrup is. The other thing too is like I'm pretty sure like kids in middle school aren't taking painkillers. Like there has to be
Yeah.
like some underdeveloped nations. There has to be like some like anti-drug people. There has to be some people who are just like, nah, I'm not going to take any drugs today. I'll be fine. I can't imagine like in 3 years everyone just taking drugs recreationally. Now, counter. If the world building was such that this was just such a horrible dystopian world that like pill popping was literally the only thing anyone could do, I could buy that. But there's definitely some farmers. There's definitely some people in
Also,
third world
this
nations.
world looks chill as fuck. Like,
Yeah.
That's another. Okay, two things. One is I didn't actually necessarily get the impression that everyone took it. I
Yeah.
just got the impression. It seems like it actually is like a painkiller, but it can also be used as like a drug if you mix it with soda, I guess. And kids were using it as drugs, obviously, because kids are immature or whatever.
I love the idea of like a group of kids just having a shopping cart filled with painkillers and no one saying like, no, you can't buy that.
okay, I think so. So one thing that makes the kind of makes me question the main I don't want to say villain, but the main guy's whole motivation is he's like, we've done this world is so bad, it's so terrible, so I'm going to end up killing everybody in the next what was it, like month? What was the
Yeah.
deadline?
Yeah. 30 days.
30 days, and I think it would have made more sense if he, like, let's say he made like some kind of miracle drug that was like really affordable, like even like painkiller or like general remedy, and then like companies kind of took a hold of it, like put it in like products to get people more addicted to them, or like something. Maybe something more tangible we could see. Like it'd be nice to see if the world is in like a worse state, and he's like this very like not entrepreneurial. This guy who likes who's very optimistic about the world, and he's like, okay, well, I'm getting old and I'm dying soon, and clearly like humanity's not getting any better, so I'm going to have a kill switch on this thing. And the whole idea is like, instead of like send assassins after me to try to find me, like I feel like it'd make more sense to be like, you as the world, the only way you can get over this is if you develop a cure yourself. If all of you come together and like develop a cure to like, I don't know, make some kind of sense of, because to me it just doesn't make sense. He's like, okay, to prove that you're worthy, that humanity is worthy of saving, you have to send down a bunch of assassins to try to like hunt me down. And find the drug yourself. Like that to me doesn't like track.
Okay, you
That
know what
makes
the worst
sense.
part is too? He could have, if he really wanted to like save the world, he could have been like, all right, humanity's dying in 31 days. I have a cure. You have 31 days to get all of this shit figured out. And if you don't, I'm not giving you the cure.
Well, I could see him like wanting to be like organically, well, not like kind of organically being like, you guys need to work together to come up with a solution to this problem I just invented for you, because I can't be like giving you the good shit if people are still going to suffer, if people are still going to, if we're still going to like destroy the world that we live in. Like you gotta like trying to teach humanity a lesson. I just don't get how he's achieving it through his current goals.
Honestly, if he pulled a Thanos and was like, okay, 50% of the population took that drug, so by the end of 30 days, 50% of you are dead, and global warming's fixed, or you're all going to come together and figure out something better.
But he's still gonna like imagine the people, like he made it so affordable to people that the innocent people or people who are just like victims to the system are still going to die. Like maybe if it was like, if it was so expensive that only like rich people could afford it, and like that was kind of the conflict, was like all the rich people are gonna die, then that would kind of give him more of a incentive to do that. It's just like his altruistic nature doesn't seem to align with his goals in a way that makes sense.
I don't know.
I agree with you. And the only thing that I'm hoping for is that we just haven't gotten explained his full motivations yet, and that at some point down the line it'll become more clarified. But honestly, I have enough experience with anime to not even like
expect that,
to not hope for that too hard, because it really might just be like, yeah, I'm just making this little death game. You guys come and kill me, otherwise everyone dies because I'm bitter against the world. Like that could be it, but I hope it's not. I hope that's not what it is.
Okay, I would give this show I would say this show would be peak absolute fiction if at the end of the series, riots have broken Earth, have teared society apart, everything is in ruins, people are going nuts, and he goes up on YouTube 30 days from now is like JK. Saying like, psych!
JK. April Fools.
Happiness doesn't even do anything, you're all gonna live.
Quick question. Did this release as an English dub, or like did you guys watch it in Japanese? Like, was it designed as an English dub? Sorry, go on.
I think it's yes. I mean, yeah. I think it's released both at the same time, like sub and dub. It's Japanese production mostly, but it's also in collaboration with producers, with American producers at Adult Swim specifically. So
did you guys watch? Which did you guys watch?
I watched the Japanese.
D, what'd you watch?
Dubs.
I hate to be mean. This is one of the most annoying dialogue out of the shows that we've watched. Like, oh my god! And like, it's not.
Which one
helped.
did you watch?
I watched the English dub, and this isn't necessarily just a problem with the dub, but I feel like it's accentuated by the voice actor's very dry delivery of everything. Again, no offense to the voice actors, because I think the primary problem is the material they're working with kind of fucking sucks. Like, I hate the way the characters talk in this. It was pissing me off. I also hate the main character. Like, I hate how fucking cocky he is. I hate, like, the lines he has. And he just, like, pisses me off. I wanted him to die at every point during the, the parkour scenes.
You're just jealous of how cool he is.
Are you saying the whole "play me a song" reminiscent of a man who sold his soul wasn't a bad line? I
don't even remember that one.
Line?
I just remember them in like the car, and they were like going over like each of their character motivations, and it was just delivered in such a matter of fact like way. Like none of the conversations feel real. I don't feel any connection with the characters because they don't talk to each other like normal people. I wish I wrote down some of the examples, because oh my god, I was just like listening to it. I'm like, this is, because I think the plot is interesting. I just feel like it's hard for me to care about the characters when they feel like robots to me.
Does it feel like did any of the lines have a "this is Katana, she's got my back" kind of energy to it?
Yes.
Because like the one where like the one dude in like the really cool purple jacket was like talking about their hacker friend, I got those vibes.
Oh my god, that was definitely one of them. That was only I feel like that's the thing. I can't think of a single piece of dialogue or a line that I thought was like okay or good. Like, it was all like annoying as fuck.
That's interesting.
This is
I didn't get
Edna.
that impression at all. I don't know if it's because of the like I watched the sub.
Yeah.
But like I feel like that shouldn't be the case because it's the same script at the end of the day.
Right,
I guess
right.
it might be slightly different, but
I think it's just
yeah, that's
accentuated
interesting.
by the voice actor. Like it's, again, I don't mean to blame the voice actors. Like I'm
Yeah.
sure these are like professionals and they're doing their best. It's just like the dialogue when delivered in such a dry way, I feel like really accentuated how like inorganic it feels.
To also point things out too, I feel like when you hear stuff in your native tongue, you're able to figure
Yeah.
out like what stuff sounds unnatural versus what stuff doesn't. So when you watch things sub, you're given like the pure meaning of what you have an intellectual understanding of what's being said, but when you listen to something dubbed, you have a emotional like understanding of what things said. And with this, it's very, this is Elena. She's got my back. I would not recommend getting hacked by her. She's wanted by multiple governments.
The
Wait,
pirate
is
looking
that what
guy-
he said?
No,
No.
but like it's like kind of it sounds it's like I'm listing off her abilities, her character, and her like motivations like out of fucking nowhere. It's like, well, I think it begins with like something that's
I think-
like,
okay.
well, she's go.
I would suggest maybe if you guys keep watching after this, maybe for episode 3, try the sub because
I will, yeah. I just didn't know if there
even
was
that-
this or not. But yeah, go on.
yeah, because even what you just said, that's not really how it went in the sub. Like it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't really like that what he said. So that's
Yeah.
interesting.
What's the name of like the pirate guy? The guy with,
He's
like,
my
the pirate
favorite
jacket.
character, and I can't remember.
Cause
The pirate.
he's got like a pirate jacket.
The guy with the,
The
purple
black guy?
jacket.
The black
Yeah.
guy with the glasses, yeah.
Oh, Douglas.
Douglas. Okay.
He especially felt like had the Rick Flag dialogue of like, by the way, here's the things that are happening.
Which sucks
Yeah,
because he's
I
my
think that might
favorite
actually be
character.
good enough.
Huh?
Which sucks because he's easily my favorite character.
I mean, they're all cool. Like they're all cool characters. I just the line delivery they have is like really annoying.
Wait, D. So when you said in your intro that you were the coolest character, were you referring to Douglas?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Then we don't have to compete then because I was referring to Axel, obviously. So it's all good. But also, I mean, Axel is my favorite character, but a close second is Chris.
Really?
And Chris is the girl who caught. Yeah, because she was so cool because everyone else was trying the direct approach, trying to catch him, and she was like, she obviously realized. This is not a guy you're gonna catch by just trying to catch him, right?
Yeah.
So she, I like the way she did it. She became my second favorite character right off, just because of that.
Okay, to be fair, a point for in favor of Chris. I love the scene where she just hears that he has like 8 life sentences, and she just kicks him out the door of the car.
Yeah.
And puts it into him. I really like that scene.
Oh, here's another thing. Okay, so in the dub, did it say it was 8 life sentences?
It was like 800 years.
Okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
in the sub, it was specifically. This is another thing that like we were talking about, like the dialogue or whatever, right, or the script. So apparently he had an 888-year sentence, and he said that his initial sentence was 3 years.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if the writers thought that no one would like actually
math.
try to figure out if the math works out, because I literally did. I was like, okay, let me
Same.
just try to see if 3. Yeah, and it doesn't work out like that. you if you double 3. Like a certain amount of times, you never get to 888. So like, what's going on there? Why didn't they just pick
round
the
it
number
up.
that works?
They rounded
Yeah.
it up. Well, 4 would have worked.
Okay, I
They
would
rounded
love
up by like 100. Yeah.
I would have loved it so much as soon as that announcement like dropped. The prison guards were just like, "All right, you're all free to go. We're all dying in 30 days. Have fun." Okay, the other thing I will take,
4 wouldn't have worked. Sorry, go on.
I'll have to criticize Axel for. Mofo, you are on the run. You are a wanted fugitive. Why are you stopping for selfies?
I feel like he actually like low key wants to get caught though, because he said his hobby is breaking out. So it's like he wants to get caught. He's not really trying that hard, honestly, right?
Neither were the guards apparently, because they gave pretty easy access to the guy who's known for breaking out.
I would have expected like there to be snipers in the prison or something like that, you know. Actually, especially for someone who's broken out however many times he's broken out, you'd expect him to be like in some high security, you know, like isolated prison, high tech, high everything, right? But it seems like he's just in a normal jail, serving 888 years. That's kind of crazy.
I would love it if he got like arrested for like stealing a candy bar or something. And it was like,
Yeah.
all right, you're locked up for 3 months. And he just keeps breaking out and it just turns from 3 months to 800 years.
I'm really interested to see what it is that I don't know if we're going to find out, but I have a feeling we will find out what it is that he was initially convicted for. And I bet it probably has something to do with whoever gave him that necklace that's like his angel or whatever that's protecting him. So I'm interested to see find out more about his backstory.
I would love it if he just gets bored and decides to turn himself back into the police so he can try to escape again. And the police and the authorities like, no, you had your chance, okay? We're not dealing with this anymore. You're free to go. We don't want you in our prison.
I really need him to fall on his face more. Like, that's the thing. I feel like I only like cocky characters if, like, one, they have the right to be cocky, or, like, two, if they're, like, I don't know, if their, like, life is rough, or if they're, like, constantly getting, have to eat shit all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So that whole first episode where he's just constantly going from, like, place to place, like evading, getting caught through, like, the dumbest... I do like how it ended with him just, like, getting stunned from taking a selfie, but that entire sequence I thought was a little bit annoying.
Yeah.
I don't mind it. One, because I always make these predictions early on in the show, and then I get proven wrong sometimes.
Yeah.
But I feel like there probably will be more to it, and I can't imagine it's gonna be like 24 episodes or however many this is of him just like being the ultimate Mary Sue and never failing at all. But more importantly, I don't mind it because it's the first episode, and the whole idea is to just show what kind of guy this guy is. So it's like it's like, you know, he's supposed to be this cool, suave guy who, you know, gets away with stuff. So I don't really mind it as much. Plus, it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
Like it's you know, it would have been one thing if it wasn't executed well, but like those action scenes, like those were done so well.
Yeah.
It's so entertaining to watch. It's really easy for me to like ignore the fact that he's kind of OP.
It was
Also,
fun to a point, but yeah. Go on.
Props to the debt collectors too. Like, they got 30 days to live, and they're freaking going for that cash. Okay.
Here's another thing. Yeah. Speaking about that, you were saying how like suspension of disbelief. You would think. I mean, like I said, I don't think that every single person took Hapna, but like you would think. It seems like obviously a ton of people did. Probably like billions, right? Or at least a billion. If an announcement like that came out where like you're gonna die in 30 days, the world would like erupt into riots and stuff.
Yeah.
But it seems like the world's still pretty stable. So
Like, you have
that might be the
some
most
riots.
unrealistic thing.
Yeah, like they showed that there were some riots, but like I would expect the areas like I would expect a full-on prison riot at the very least, or like a little bit of looting. I did not like you would not expect that one like officer-friendly guy just be all chill and hanging out like stuff.
Yeah, like just like there would definitely be chaos realistically, right? Like you just think how many of the prison guards would have taken, like the people who work at the prison would have taken Hapna. I feel like a lot of them in real life would quit. Like a lot of people would quit their jobs. You find out you have 30 days to live, you quit your job. The prison's going to be in chaos, right? Everything's going to be in chaos, you know?
I love like one headcanon I have though is like Skinner is like really into himself, so he's thinking to himself like, yeah, everyone took that drug, everyone's been doing it, my plan is foolproof, when in reality only like a third of the population actually took it.
A third of the population would still be a lot of dead people.
Yeah, but it's less than half.
I think Honestly, I feel like this is going back to the point where, like, I feel like we as the audience kind of needs to see what Skinner sees.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like the world at the beginning should look like Gotham City.
Yes.
And then things
Oh
even
no.
break down
Oh, okay.
more, like, as soon as people hear about this.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if
Yeah.
he tells them like you need to get along in order to solve this, and then being like fuck no, I don't trust like any of that could happen.
If I got 30 days, I'm killing all my enemies. If I'm gonna die, I'm definitely not dying first, mofo.
I'm just saying, like the world like before the whole plot begins looks pretty nice.
Yeah.
I agree with. Okay, so I
It
agree
looks
with
like
you.
our world, but warmer.
I
better than
agree
our
with you
world.
from from like a writing standpoint that maybe it would be better for the story if the world was darker because it would more realistically motivate the character's actions, especially Dr. Skinner.
Yeah.
But from a personal standpoint, I hate I'm so like I really don't like those dark cyberpunk settings. And it's been done so much. And that was actually one of the things I specifically wrote down that I appreciate about this show is that like it shows a futuristic setting that like doesn't go so like far down like the dystopian path. It's not like it's all sunshine and daisies, but like, it feels like a realistic future, which I appreciate. And it's also part of the reason why I like this director is because he also tends. I get the impression that he tends to avoid dark settings in general, just from all the shows he's done. Like he never really goes, even like when he does like sci-fi, cyberpunk type stuff. He never really he never really does dystopian settings. So I like that about him. So yeah, I agree. I see what your point that it probably for the story it would be better, but I like it just because I don't like spending time in those types of worlds.
No, I get that too. I just for me it makes like Skinner as a character to feel like a little bit more like, dude, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
They got like
But
cool cyberpunk, like positive cyberpunk, like classrooms and like
Fancy cars.
fancy cars.
Okay, this is
Yeah.
one thing I will I'll have to criticize about the world. This is definitely like a hyper futuristic kind of society and everything, but it feels too normal. I feel like this doesn't benefit from being taking place in the future. Like if they had like more interesting like future guns and everything, more like fancy future tech and stuff like that, maybe. But it feels like this could easily take place in like current year.
I mean, it's not that. It's only like 30 years in the future. It's not like it's that far. So I don't know. To me, it seems pretty realistic for what. I mean, honestly, it seems like it probably overestimates how far we'll get in 30 years. I could be wrong about that though, but who knows?
But you know what? When I was watching, I was thinking of this too. Something that I think illustrates your point well about like the setting being because like obviously the show is going for a more positive, more feel good tone. I feel like in most of the shows, the last scene where the one like CEO of that company, I think he's the CEO, right? Who like owes a lot of money, has been like trying to overdose to die sooner.
Yeah.
Is like, you know what? I'm gonna restart my life, and I thought he was just gonna immediately just like all of his guts would just like pour out of his mouth or something like that. But but they kind of went for a more like toned back, but still kind of funny. Where it's like, oh, we're all gonna die in 30 days anyways. God damn it.
Okay, here's what he's gonna do. He's gonna come to terms with it and take out a bunch of freaking loans, okay? It's the final hurrah. He's either gonna get a really awesome business, or every person who could possibly debt collect off of him is gonna die.
Oh, I like the scene where the debt collectors are like becoming friends over their shared like hatred for the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny.
Anything else?
I don't know. I feel like there should be more for me to say. But that's kind of the ironic thing with like good shows, at least for me. Like it seems like the better they are, the less I actually have to say. It's easier to like talk about bad shows because you just like have a lot of criticism stuff. The only things I can say is just I like it,
Yeah.
I really like the character designs. I talked about the setting, about like the atmosphere of it, but like specifically the actual environment design and all that. You know, the cars are cool, the buildings, all that. Yeah, I like it. The opening's very cool. It's very. I feel like out of all the shows he's done, this is the one that like he's trying to make like as close to Cowboy Bebop compared to the others. One, because of like the cast kind of reminds me of Cowboy. Well, at least the main character. He's not as the main Spike is not as like badass necessarily as Axel, but they're kind of like the same stereotype. But yeah, I like all of that, and also I didn't mention it, but I guess it's probably obvious by now. I really just like the cast of characters. Like another reason I like this director is because all his shows, like the ensemble cast he makes, I really enjoy them.
Yes.
And yeah, I want to learn more about them and see where it goes. And also another thing is, I just like this type of premise. You know, where it's like, it seems. What I'm hoping for is that it turns into kind of like a race or something. I got the impression that was gonna be what happened in episode 2, where they're like competing to find, you know, Dr. Skinner. So I hope like we end up finding out about other parties trying to find Dr. Skinner, and like you know, it becomes a competition between them to see who finds him first. But really, the entire show is going to hinge for me, like, well, not the entire show, but really a big part of it is going to hinge on the main thing that Matt was talking about, which is Dr. Skinner's motivation. Like, if it really just turns out that like there's nothing more to it than that, I think it would be like a major hit to the story. So I'm really hoping that something comes of it. You know.
Right.
But yeah, I guess that's it. I really like the show. It's fun. I'm definitely gonna keep watching. And yeah, that's all I have to say. I guess I'll just give my rating then. Or is there anything before we do ratings? Is there anything you want to say, Matt?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's crazy that they made a Luigi Mangione anime.
Wait, actually, who's supposed to be Luigi?
Axel, I would say.
I was gonna mention the main guy. He breaks out of prison and is gonna. The Axel. Yeah, that's his name.
He even kind of looks like him. Honestly.
He does. Yeah, he's got the hair.
Hey, listen. My good friend Luigi did nothing wrong, okay? He was with me feeding the homeless. I have a non-Photoshop picture and evidence of it, okay?
Now, FBI, we understand it's not good that, you know, obviously he did a terrible thing, but...
I think I hear like a SWAT team at Dee's door right now. What's going on? But
Final
okay.
ratings?
Yeah.
Final rating. I will give this a 9 out of 10.
Ooh.
Yeah, I really like. I almost have. I don't really even have a reason to not give it a 10, but I just feel like that's just glazing too much. So I'll just I'll just make it a 9. And I'm hoping it becomes a 10. But I guess maybe the only reason it's not a 10 is because of Dr. Skinner's weird motivation. And in general, like you said, D, at the beginning, a lot of things require suspension of disbelief. So, yeah.
Yep. For me, I'll give it an 8 out of 10, and a strong 8 out of 10. I like the animation. I like the visuals. I like a lot of the show. My only issue is just the suspension of disbelief in Doc Skinner.
Okay. Actually, I think I'm going to revise my rating down to an 8 also. I think an 8 is fair. An 8 is more fair.
So, very impressive animation. Very, very cool story. I think it's a good idea. I think it's a great idea. Good animation as always. I will say the dialogue just really is fucking with me. So I'm gonna give
I'm gonna check out
a 5.5 out of 10.
Ooh.
Wow. Wait, so out of the like the 4.5 points that was docked, how much of that is the dialogue?
Like honestly, 5.5 is me being generous right now.
Goodness gracious.
but like I would say like maybe like 3 or 2 of the points are like just based on, because like to me it is kind of important the way that characters communicate, because it also affects like the way that they communicate with each other and the way that they express themselves. And I'm just like, to me it's so incredibly cringe. The guy literally said curiosity kills the cat or whatever.
Yeah.
Did you know curiosity killed the cat? And it's like, fuck yeah, I know that. Why'd you fucking say that?
Okay, so I'm not gonna make an excuse for that necessarily, but I am gonna make an excuse for it, which is if you imagine it from like a Japanese perspective, that's like a novel thing, maybe, or like something that's like not a normal everyday saying. And so I can imagine, when you translate that over to English, if you just keep it the same, like curiosity killed the cat, it's like, okay.
like this is very this could very easily change, and like, you know, it would be bumped up like a few points, right? It's just right now I just can't get over the way that it's been presented to me. I mean, I'm down to still watch this, of course, because like I'm interested to see where the narrative goes, because we're only like 2 episodes in. But my god, like I feel like even some of the worst shows that we watched in here, I got over, but maybe it's because I watched those in Japanese.
I wanna. I'm gonna check out the English dub at least for like 1 episode or something, just to see what you guys are talking about, because you guys got me really curious now.
I mean, like I it just might be my personal preference. What the fuck? My personal preference, because it seems like D didn't really have an issue with it either, and I feel like most dubs just kind of sound like this anyways.
Have you seen Cowboy Bebop? Because that's one that's like everyone says. People say the dub is even better than the sub for that one. So if you have seen it, how do you feel about the dub for it?
I think I think I do prefer the sub, but I remember the dub not being nearly as bad.
Oh, okay.
And in general too, like if we want to draw comparisons between this and Cowboy Bebop, because I can definitely see the inspiration for the main character. Like even the fight, the way he fights is like kind of similar. I like Spike more in general too. I don't know why. I had to rewatch Cowboy Bebop.
I know why. It's because he's not as perfect.
Maybe. But yeah, I mean that it sounds harsh, but like I don't know. That's just my opinion, man. Get over it.
Meanwhile,
problem.
Delicious in Dungeon is sitting at like a 10 out of 10 in your eyes.
Because the dialogue is good in that. It feels real.
All right. Well, that's been the podcast. Tune in next time, and you all have a good night.
See you later.
Bye.